Welcome to 2025, everybody. A new year, new goals, and a new movie review to jump into. The Ringer is definitely one of those early 2000 movies that wouldn't be greenlit today. Starring Johnny Knoxville and Katherine Heigl, The Ringer follows Steve Barker, a young man taking drastic steps of pretending to be mentally handicapped in order to rig the Special Olympics to help a friend in need, along with his uncle riddled with gambling debts. To his astonishment, he learns the athletes are not only more talented, but have also caught on to his act. So make sure to grab your snacks, sit back, and let's get started into the surprisingly warm-hearted comedy. Our story starts with Steve sitting at his desk listening to what's supposed to be a motivational tape.
Chapter 4. You're a disgrace.
I never understood the point of these types of tapes. I get some people aren't motivated to do things, and that's fine, right? But having Gary Vee doing a Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation in your ears all day doesn't seem like it would be helpful.
I've had bowel movements with more spine than you.
If anything, it seems like it would be more counterproductive. But it works, and Steve goes to confront his boss. If I had the courage to walk up to my boss and just ate shit like this, I would just go sit back down because obviously the cards aren't in your favor. Lady Luck must have been having a good day though. After talking to Mr. Henderson, he gets the shot he was looking for, but it comes with a price.
Do me a favor, will you? And fire Stavi.
Which is straight bullshit because at first he tries saying,
yeah, he's doing a terrible job.
But as we can see in the next scene, this man is literally scrubbing toilets barehanded with a sponge and a scrubber. No gloves necessary, which is pretty gross. Henderson just wants him fired since
I caught him using my personal bathroom. I sat on his pee.
As Steve is trying to go fire Stavi, Stavi goes on this huge spiel trying to manipulate Steve into keeping his job, it seems like.
Stavi can't be fired. I have 5 kids. My wife, Betcha, she died.
Oh, God.
Then he just completely changes his attitude once Steve tells him.
I'm not firing you.
No?
Like, how are you gonna go from crying and putting your poop water hands all over me to just negotiating prices about mowing lawns?
How much I get?
400?
And health benefits?
While Stavi is cutting the lawn, it makes sense why he told Steve.
In my country, Stavi not too bright either.
He just sticks his hand in a running lawnmower to try to unclog it. Talking to the doctor, Steve learns that he needs to come up with $25,000 in order to fix Stavi's hand.
Not including the anesthesia.
Yes, not including anesthesia. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Hospitals, am I right? Being introduced to Uncle Gary hanging out at one shady bar betting on football games.
God, if he puts it to the uprights, I promise. No more massages with happy endings.
We all know someone like Uncle Gary.
Oh, thank you, God. I put out to you, you dump on me.
There's at least one in every family. But Uncle Gary's luck seems to have run out quite some time ago when Michael, a mobster who seems to think he's in The Godfather, enters the picture.
You owe me $40,000, which I, as a friend, took your word that you would pay.
During a shakedown with Uncle Gary, an ad for the Special Olympics pops on the TV, which gives Uncle Gary a light bulb moment.
We are gonna fix the Special Olympics.
You want to fix the Special Olympics?
There's a couple moments in this film where it seems like Johnny Knoxville is actually a special person. Steve declines Uncle Gary's offer as I think any sane person would, and decides to go visit Stavi in the hospital.
Were you able to straighten out the insurance glitch? It's okay if you don't get insurance. With not so many fingers, when I do the gardening, I don't crush the flowers. I can pick them easy.
Then Steve finally decides to follow through on Uncle Gary's plan.
Finally, a little humanity.
Renting every movie at their local Blockbuster that revolves around the main character having a mental disability, like The Green Mile, I Am Sam, Forrest Gump, we see the first glimpses of Steve's great high school acting abilities.
My name is Wholesome, and I can count the potato.
Hi, my name is Jerome. Can I have a slice of your duty?
Until finally settling on Jeffy.
Hello, my name is Jeffy, and I like to eat apples.
Boogie woogie.
Registration day has arrived, and it's time for Jeffy to get all signed up, and he's still having second thoughts about it, especially after meeting Glenn.
Hi, my name is Glenn.
Guess what?
What?
I work at Burger King.
You want fries with that?
Johnny Knoxville really can't let go of Jackass.
No.
The amount of pain gags in this film is actually pretty painful. No pun intended. I guess it works in this case though, because it lets us get introduced to the next main character, Lynn, played by Katherine Heigl. You know, for someone whose idea was Uncle Gary sucks at this.
I'm just gonna need to know his qualifying times and his diagnosis.
Well, he's slow. Real slow. You should see him try and eat a watermelon.
Like, dude, all you had to do was learn one diagnosis. Hell, Steve picked up a document that wasn't even his and ran back to save your ass.
Jeffy, highly functioning, developmentally disabled.
Which also reminds me, that looks like an actual medical document, so whose is that? Did someone forget it and just left it lying around? Or is it like an awareness thing? I can't imagine awareness pamphlets just hanging around in manila, well, in this case, teal envelopes. Steve meeting Billy, who's played by Edward Balbanow, who you might recognize from Workaholics, is one of the most memorable moments from this film. Trying to find a way to break the ice but getting shit on instead.
Working on the computer there?
No, I'm walking my dog.
Steve just starts rummaging through his stuff just as you would anybody's, dropping a CD, causing what I believe is the #1 most memorable quote of this entire movie.
Oh my stars, for the love of Liza. You scratch my CD.
And a vocal threat that I will now start incorporating into my everyday life.
Why you scratch his CD?
Jeffy, just admiring it.
Do it again, and you'll be admiring my butt from the pavement with the straw.
Leading Steve to be the bitch in this living situation.
That's my chair.
Lynn's explained to him how the preliminaries work, so... Excuse me. Lynn's explaining to him how the preliminaries work in order to get Steve to race against Jimmy.
Good luck.
I don't need luck, ugly.
Rudy is such a dick. After a little failure montage, Steve ends up finishing in 8th place.
Good thinking, pal. Holding back and letting 7 others beat you. Nice touch.
It was sheer luck due to a contestant falling, but sure thing, Uncle Gary. He puts a lot of faith in Steve, as we can see in the next scene.
He can't come up with my 40 G's and now wants to bet 100 G's.
I'll put up my house.
Know something? You're sick. You need help. I'll take your house.
Remember when I said causing what I believe is the #1 most memorable quote of this entire movie? Now I'm not so sure, because as anybody who's seen the film knows, Thomas's entry is semi more memorable than Billy's CD scratch.
Hi! My name is Thomas. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to Karen. She's a real good swimmer, and she can jump high too. And, when I talk to Karen, should I wear my shirt up, like this, or down? Or possibly tucked in?
Jimmy finally makes his first appearance other than seeing him on the TV, and from first impressions, let me tell you, this guy is a schmuck.
Can I have the autographs, please?
Get it off eBay.
Who is eBay?
It's chow time, and I apologize in advance because we're going to spend a lot of time on this scene. Steve sits down with everybody that he's met so far, minus Billy. Learning more about our newly acquainted friends.
I once met a girl speed dating. We almost went out for a whole minute.
This is my Doberman Candy. He usually doesn't bite me, only sometimes also he does.
Steve asks Glenn for the ketchup, which doesn't make any sense to me because you're eating turkey, gravy, and mashed potatoes. What the fuck do you need ketchup for? Nonetheless, Steve blows his cover just as I think any of us would after getting potatoes spat on our face, leading to this mass walkout, stealing all of Steve's food minus Thomas because he's just so pure-hearted. Lynn is low-key inappropriate throughout this entire film. She invites Steve out for this little hangout session, which at first you're like, this is kind of weird, but then it gets negated because she brought her man's David along. Until we find out it's like a double date scenario to set Steve up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not surprised Yoli's single because she's kind of a bitch.
Hey, Jeffy, did you know that Yoli is from Seattle?
I hear they got coffee there, too.
Yes, I have all the major beverages.
You know, I heard that.
Between David and Yoli, this is a disaster of a lunch. You got Yoli ready to toss herself overboard like a rack of Steve's ribs. David's over here is treating Steve and Yoli like toddlers.
What time is it when you have to go to the dentist? Tooth hurty.
being the worst fiance in the world.
How do y'all know each other?
Oh, he's in Special Olympics.
That's so sweet of you to get involved. How'd I get involved?
I'd love to do that. Why don't you give me your number and I'll hook you up?
Sure.
At headquarters, Steve tries to create this like semi-elaborate lie to try to split Lynn and David up.
David very nice to Jeffy when Lynn around.
But how is he when Lynn's not around?
David poked Jeffy in the chest and called him stupid.
Which is messed up even with David's actions. Karma hits hard though.
What's going on, guys?
You are so busted.
Finally knowing he's caught, Steve tries to explain the reasons for his actions, which comes to this gigantic like CSI Miami chart to finally get everybody to understand what's going on. The guys come to a conclusion that Steve can stay only if he starts taking his training seriously.
You guys think I can beat him?
Maybe, but you have to start trying.
Boy, do we see him fail over and over and over again, because what kind of sports film wouldn't have a montage? Whoops, wrong clip. Trouble is lurking in the darkness as Jimmy watches from the shadows. The relationship that they all come to have is so beautiful. I wish I had friends to have a blanket fort to chillin' with, talk about our dreams and aspirations, minus getting shit on.
Looks are important in that industry.
I mean, you probably wouldn't have made it, but you could have tried.
Maybe it actually helped get the ball rolling. Look at Steve's face. They spit some real shit at him, making him question all of his life's decisions. The messages this movie sends are something you would never expect it to. I've never noticed this before, but if you watch in the background when Lynn and Steve are running errands for Lynn, this kid almost gets smashed by this truck. Unfortunately, somebody recognizes Steve back from the high school days.
That's fantastic. I don't know you. I don't know you.
On their way home, Lynn lets us delve into her past a little bit by telling us the reason why she started volunteering for the
That's my big
Special
brother,
Olympics.
Jeremy. He died a few years ago.
Making Steve feel like the piece of shit that he is so much that it makes him turn to Christ. Sadly, the Father has the hands of the Holy Spirit. Uncle Gary may be a piece of shit too, but he's spitting straight facts when Steve tries throwing in the towel.
Maybe I should just accept the fact that I can't win. Stop lying to Lynn and everybody else.
You have to be a moron to think she'll fall for you. She thinks you're mentally retarded.
The friendship they all come to have is awesome. The water fight and the hangout room scenes are just beautiful.
What happened here? Pipe broke.
It's salty planning.
It's snowing.
Convincing Steve to take them off of the camp is not only to go see Dirty Dancing, but to see Dirty David also.
She's just a buddy.
Buddy?
He was licking his buddy's ears.
Leading to these amazing one-liners.
Goodbye, hooker lady.
And then once more when David is trying to cover up to Lynn why they were at the movies.
When the fuck did we get ice cream?
Lynn shows up trying to find the gang, when she also finds
David?
But David's attempts are futile thanks to Steve's quick thinking.
David told Jeffy not to talk about his pants around his ankles and the girl looking for her earring.
The final stretches here as day one of the preliminaries take place, along with some bets.
I'd like to place $1,000 on Jeffy.
You got it.
You piece of garbage. Uncle Gary's sportsmanship I think we can all get behind.
Hey, Jimmy!
Now I know it's wrong for us to want Steve to win these games against Jimmy, but honestly watching Steve beat Jimmy not only for himself but for his newly acquainted friends and Stavi is just... But sadly Jeffy is still in second place by 5 points with the victor being decided tomorrow after the 400-meter run.
The Cadillac of Special Olympics competition.
Time to remember dancing in September at the Rise to New Heights ball. Steve sneaks away to go hang out with Lynn before Billy comes and cockblocks.
Jeffy, the kid that Whitney High is on. Oh, come on.
But it works in his favor.
Billy, a big fan of kids of Whitney High, so Jeffy called number on back of CD and asked them to come.
Then doesn't because during the slow dance, Steve decides to confess his true feelings to Lynn as Jeffy.
Lynn's perfect. Makes Jeffy want to wake up in the morning.
Giving her this crazy midlife crisis, coming to the conclusion that she has to leave the games.
I don't deserve to be here.
The final day has arrived and Thomas is here for it.
Jimmy, You're going down. Goodbye, bling bling.
The tension throughout the last race is pretty intense. Jimmy has this massive lead on Steve. We see the bar patrons watching intensely, Uncle Gary watching intensely, until just as Steve takes the lead, Jimmy pulls a hamstring and falls to the ground. Steve decides to go back in good sportsmanship and help Jimmy up to finish the race, which Jimmy didn't give a single fuck about. But luckily, Glenn came in clutch, still forcing Jimmy to lose.
Jimmy, you suck!
Knowing he's done wrong and can't accept the medal, Steve comes forward at confessing everything that he has done and giving the medal to its rightful owner.
Everybody, this belongs to you.
Before getting the biggest well-deserved bitch slap by Lynn, leaving us with undecided feelings. I'm happy Stavi got his fingers, Thomas and Glenn got their medals, but now Lynn hates Steve. I mean, rightfully so, but it's still sad. Flash forward 6 months into the future and we see the gang practicing a performance of Romeo and Juliet.
Jackie Gleason didn't rehearse and neither do I. You scratched my CD, you know.
Being surprised by an old friend.
Hey, Lane!
Thanks to Glenn playing Lynn like a fiddle, we learn that Steve gave everybody jobs and finally gets the chance to explain things to Lynn.
Lynn, you have no idea how sorry I am.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Wow, great apology.
I told her everything. How you got me the job, how you scanned the system so I could get my fingers back.
Oh, never mind. Thanks, Stavi. Our story comes to an end with Uncle Gary trying to sell scalper tickets to Steve's rendition of Romeo and Juliet.
Life is short. I love you. Hit the music, fellas.
Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this review of the surprisingly wholesome movie, The Ringer. Let me know how your New Year's was in the comments below, along with any other movies or shows you would want to see us review in 2025. Don't forget to find me on all of your favorite socials, along with hitting that subscribe button. Happy 2025, everybody. I love you all, and until next time, I'll see you later.
Ant? They were killed by ants?
No, you idiots.